Hey everyone, welcome to ZENTS Wellness Room. I'm glad to be back here teaching yoga and welcome all of you here. This is a place that we've created so that you can help find a place of rest and ease in your body, your mind, your emotions. There's a lot going on for all of us right now. These are challenging times. So my experience when we're really challenged in the mental world is to come back to the body. So this is what I'm offering you today, a chance to come back into your body, to breathe, to feel at ease. And I just want to welcome your kids, your partners. This is an all levels class. So I'm going to be giving you guys lots of variations. And if you're new to yoga, I would encourage you to modify as much as you need. So don't feel like you have to do the full pose. I'm going to give lots of variations and just show up as you are. This is really a practice to be with yourself, to spend time with yourself and your body and your feelings. So it's not about trying to get anywhere or achieve anything. So I want to welcome you. We're going to do a very similar practice to what we did on Wednesday. And we'll start with some breath work. So here we go. You can go ahead and go on your mat and lie on your backs. And by the way, if you have some yoga props, you'll want to have those handy. That would be a blanket, a block, and a strap. If you don't have yoga props, that's fine too. You can always use a book, works sometimes, or a scarf sometimes works as a strap. So use what you have, and let's go ahead and come back. And we'll start with some breath work. And first, the breath work we're going to be using, which we did on Wednesday as well, is called Ujjayi Pranayama. It's a very simple, slow breathing that we do in and out through the nostrils. So I'm going to talk you through it. You can come and lie on your back with your knees bent. And you'll just rest your hands on your lower belly somewhere and let your shoulders relax. You're just going to start with fully relaxing your body. And then I want you to just notice your breath as it is. So you don't have to change it or fix it. I just want you to take a moment. You can close your eyes if you like, or leave your eyes at a soft gaze. And you're going to notice the quality of your breath right now. So notice if it's more shallow, more deep. And notice the inhalation, if it's stronger than the exhalation. And actually, we're going to focus a little bit more today on the exhalations because I think most of us have a tendency right now with what's going on in the world to be a little bit more inhalation fixed, right? We can kind of go into anxiety. We can go into stress. But if you happen to be maybe that person that goes a little more into sluggishness, then you can actually focus a little more on the in-breath. So you're going to rest the tip of your tongue on the roof of your mouth, relax your face and jaw, and find a soft smile in the corners of your mouth. So again, we're going to drop the expectations, drop any self-judgment that you might have brought in just for this next hour. Leave it at the door and come into right where you are in this moment. And in the Ujjayi breath, we're going to make a little bit of a sound with our breath. So you're going to gently contract the back of the throat just a little bit until you hear, we like to call it a Darth Vader sound, or I like to think of the sound of the ocean back in the distance. I just want to make a nice sweet sound with your breath. And the tip of the tongue again rests on the roof of your mouth. And you're going to allow the breath to go a little bit deeper. So as you inhale, breathe all the way down into your lower belly, base of your spine, and feel your feet on the ground. And then as you exhale, slowly let the breath back out. So you want to almost let it out evenly, front, back, and sides. And follow the breath all the way back out through the crown of your head. And then as you inhale, breathe all the way into the spine, the rib cage, the belly, just feeling the front, back, and sides of your body open evenly. And then as you exhale, let that breath out evenly. And for the next 2 or 3 breaths, you're just going to listen to the sound of your own breath. It doesn't need to be super loud. You just want to be able to hear it. This is actually a breathwork practice we can bring in all the time. We can bring in whenever we feel out of our bodies or stress or anxiety creep in. You can just take a few ujjayi breaths, breathing in slowly through the nostrils. And even pausing at the top. And then exhale your breath all the way out. Find that soft smile. And pause at the bottom. And take another full breath in, everyone. Breathing into the whole body, into those little crevices in your body that feel maybe not quite awake. And then exhale, letting go of any residual stress, shoulders, jaw, back of the skull, lower back. Great. And then we're going to open the eyes and draw the knees into the chest. And you can clasp the hands around the shins here. And go ahead and just hold and if that's too much, you can put the hands around the back of the legs. You can hold on to the shins here and just take a few breaths, drawing the knees in as you reach the tailbone back towards the floor, shoulders drip back. And keep that ujjayi breath flowing through your body. Good, and then we'll separate the knees and we'll just move the feet in some small circles in towards each other, feet and ankles. And then switch the direction so they're moving in towards each other. Might feel a few cracks and pops. Great, and then we'll keep a hold of the right knee and exhale, extend your left leg onto the floor. And just take a moment here. You can actually take your left hand, place it on top of your left thigh bone and just ground, almost like you have a nice heavy sandbag on your thigh here. So it's grounded and rooted. Good, and then you can take this left arm and reach it overhead. And take a few breaths here, and as you inhale, you'll focus on the rooting. And then as you exhale, you'll focus on reaching. Relax the jaw. One more breath here, inhaling. And then exhale, draw your left knee back in and stretch your right leg out. And again, take a breath here, and you can take your right hand onto that thigh, grounding the right thigh bone. And then on your inhale, reach the right arm overhead. And just take some nice long ujjayi breaths. So this is a good place to wake up the feet, reaching through the inner edge of your right foot, and then the opposite way through the right arm. So in yoga, we're always finding those oppositional movements. And then we inhale, bring the legs back in, give yourself a little squeeze here. And then on the exhale, we'll roll over to our sides. And then let's come onto tabletop pose on our yoga mats here. And you'll go ahead and bring the knees about hip distance apart. The hands are going to come shoulder width apart. And then just start by spreading the webbing in the fingers here. So you want to get nice and rooted in the hands. And I like to even lean my chest forward till I feel the weight come into the hands. And then you can back off a little bit. And then we'll begin some cat-cow movements, nice slow. So as you inhale, lift the head and the chest and arch your lower back. And then you're going to lead with the tailbone, exhale round, bringing the navel to the spine. Press through the arms, chin to chest. And then just keep going with the breath. Inhale, arch your back. Open up the whole front line of your body, chest, throat. Exhale, curl and round. And then I want you to just find your own pace here with your breath. Inhale. And your breath is going to initiate the movement. Exhale, curl and round. Activate the navel center. And inhale. We'll do about 3 more breaths. Inhaling. And exhale. And rather than just pushing your way through the sensations and the movements, actually practice feeling your way through. So as you move through the spine, where do you feel resistance? Where do you feel openness? And just get to know your body as you move. And then one more breath, exhaling round the back. Great, and inhale, come back to neutral. We're just going to do a pose from here that's going to help stabilize the core. So we'll reach the left leg straight back behind. So this is an option if the next variation is too much, you just lift your left leg back. And then we're going to take the opposite arm forward. So the right arm reaches forward. And again, if you feel yourself too wobbly, you can put your hand back down and then stabilize. Almost like you're hugging the arm and leg in towards the center, towards each other. And take one more breath here, inhaling, and then exhale, release, and we'll stretch the right leg back. And then if it works for you, left arm out. And you want to keep a little lift in the belly so you don't overarch the lower back here. So a little core engagement in the belly. And breathe. Keep weaving your Ujjayi breath. And one more big in-breath. And then on the out-breath, release. And then from here, we'll take a half dog pose. So again, we'll take a big step forward with the hands like we did in the last class. And then you're going to exhale. Let your head go between your arms. Now, you may or may not get your forehead to the floor. It really doesn't matter. You just want to have the arms lifted like they would be in downward dog. So the forearms are lifted. The hands are plugging pretty firmly. You're anchoring those hands, especially the tips of the fingers down into the floor. And that'll help activate the arms. And this is a great pose just for opening the shoulders, but also creating stability in the shoulders. Yeah. So we'll take one more breath here. Inhale, lifting the armpits, and then exhale, softening the chest, softening the thoracic spine. Great. And then we're going to stay low to the ground here and walk the hands over to the left side, maybe 6 inches or so. And breathe here. Breathe into the side of your right rib cage, the side of your right waist. So we start to open up the middle of the body. We often think of ourselves as having a front and a back, and then we forget about the middle. So as we do these side stretches, we'll come on over to the right side. We free up the rib cage, the diaphragm, the breath. And go ahead and take one more breath here, everyone. Great. And then we'll walk ourselves back to center. And then walk your knees together and your feet together for toe stretch. And you'll tuck your toes under. And if you can, bring your feet and your toes and your heels together. And then you're going to start to walk back. Now, some of you might find your edge right here. That's fine. You'll stay here. And some of you might be more upright, sitting back on the heels. It can be a little bit of an intense stretch on the feet, but it really helps to open up the arches of the feet and create more stability for when we're walking. So then we'll interlace the hands, and on the exhale, stretch your arms straight out in front of you. Now you want to keep the focus on the belly pulling in, the lower ribs pulling in, and then reach the arms up. So you don't go into too much arch in the back. Yeah, and then just let your sitting bones rest down. So you're going to find the yielding. Part of how we ground through the body is really just yielding, letting go and softening. And we'll take another full breath in here. You can look up just to open up the throat a little bit. Great, and then exhale, release the hands to the floor. And then from here, we'll come into a downward facing dog. So you'll come back up onto tabletop. Many of you know downward facing dog, but for those of you that don't, we'll take one step forward with the hands. Make sure the creases of your wrist are aligned with each other, lined up at the front of the mat. And then you'll tuck your toes under, lift your knees, and go ahead and stretch back. So I want you to keep the knees pretty bent here in the beginning. And If for any reason downward dog feels like too much on your wrists, you can always come down onto and do the half dog pose, okay? Otherwise, from here, you want to find that grounding through the hands, so the tips of the fingers are rooting, pressing all the way to the knuckles. Great. And then we'll exhale, come down onto the knees. And then we'll walk the hands back to the knees, and we're just going to come onto the feet. And go ahead and press yourself into a forward bend. So those of you who, I always say this, it's fun, are blessed with stiffness, because it is a blessing, because you can feel your edges a little bit more. Those of you who have a lot of flexibility have to work a little more muscle energy. So if you're blessed with stiffness, you can bend the knees, and then we'll take a hold of our elbows and just hang. Let yourself fully hang down. We call this the ragdoll stretch, so you can let your hair, your head move side to side, front to back, and let go of any tension in your head and your neck here. And then come into your feet, spreading your toes. And you can even sway a little bit side to side. And keep coming back in and weaving into your breath. Great, and then we'll go ahead and let the arms relax down, and we'll roll up one vertebrae at a time. So keep pressing into the feet as you come up, so using the legs as support. And then we'll come all the way up to standing. And let's bring the feet maybe just a little bit closer. And look down at your feet actually, and make sure that they're parallel to each other, parallel to the outer edges of your mat. Toes are spreading wide, and you want to root down through all four corners of your feet. So if you look down, you're really pressing through the big toe mound, little toe mound, inner and outer heel. And feel those roots growing all the way down, and then inhale, reach the arms wide. Exhale, we'll reach back and interlace the hands behind the back. And then on the in-breath, lift your chest, loop your shoulders back, and stay rooted through the legs as you lift. Then exhale, you'll come forward again. And again, feel free to bend the knees, or if you have the flexibility, keep the legs straight and toned, and breathe. And find your breath here. So again, you come into the posture, and then meet the different sensations. So maybe you meet tension, maybe you meet irritability. Sometimes we meet emotional edges in our body. And really the practice is just about being present with whatever is there as you come into the pose. And breathing, bringing your awareness. We'll finish our next exhalation, completely ground the feet, and then lead with your chest. You can bend the knees and slowly rise up to standing. Great, and then we're going to walk up to the front of our mats, and we'll stand in the mountain pose. So last time I did this facing towards you, I just want to do it, let's do it facing towards to begin with. It's a little easier to see. So big toes touch, and ankles are maybe an inch or two apart. This is the mountain pose with feet together. Okay, and then the arms are just resting by your sides, and find your head on top of your spine. So we'll close the eyes for a couple of breaths and connect down through the feet. And move the inner thighs inward. So you're going to spiral the thigh bones in and then drop your tailbone down, almost like you have a little weight hanging off your tail. So you want to feel the ground of the body. Okay, and then from that ground, you'll just feel a natural uprising, a natural rebounding up through the spine. Shoulders are back. You can even take a couple of loops in the shoulders. Yeah. You can take the shoulders forward for a couple of loops. Yeah, and actually let's shake out the wrists. Forgot I did this last time. It's such a good thing to start with. Just shake. Shake your body, shake your wrists. You can make some circles with the wrists and the ankles. Yep, and then a couple of hip circles in one direction. And then the other direction, just getting some mobility into the hips and the knees too, a couple of circles, opening up the joints. So good. Okay. And then we'll come back to our mountain pose here, spreading the feet on the ground. And then just see if you can find the balance in the pelvis. So even a hand on the low belly and a hand on the sacrum. And you can just find that place in the middle. Some of us tend to have too much arch in the back, too much lordosis. Some of us tend to push the pelvis forward. And so we want to find that neutral place and then move from there. So arms by your sides. We're going to move through just a couple of the first few movements of a sun salutation. Exhale your breath all the way out. And then on your inhalation, reach your arms up towards the sky and stay rooted through your feet as you reach. Turn the palms out and we'll exhale, just like you're swimming through some nice warm water. Release the arms down. Inhale. We'll sweep the arms up. And on the exhale, the arms down by your sides. And we'll take one more full breath in. Breathe into the back. And exhale the arms by your sides. And then bring your hands together in a prayer position in front of the heart center. Always like to take a moment of intention for our practice. So it can be a personal intention, maybe just peace, or maybe it's, I just want to feel a little more energy in my body. It can be that, or it can be an intention of an offering to someone maybe in need, somebody in need of a little more love and care. Whatever that is for you, just take a deep breath in, set the intention into the space of the heart. And then on the exhale, we'll open our eyes, exhale the arms down by your sides, and inhale the arms up towards the sky. And then on the exhale, fold forward, forward fold. Then from here, you can take the hands to the shins, look up halfway. We're going to try to get this length from the belly all the way up to the chest, collarbones. And then on the exhalation, we'll step the right leg back and bring your back knee down to the floor. Now, those of you who have a thin mat or don't have enough padding, you can just fold your blanket or your mat over for your knee. And then we'll bring the hands here up onto the thigh. Just want you to take a breath and curl your chest in, round forward, draw the belly in so that you can actually feel the opening through the back of your body, the lower back, the upper back, chin toward the chest. Yeah. Good. Now you don't want to lose that as you exhale. Sink your hips towards the floor. And then we'll inhale the arms up into a crescent lunge. Take a couple of breaths here. Exhale, soften your hips. And find that soft smile. Inhale, look up and reach from the sides of your waistline up through the tips of the fingers. And then on the exhale, release the hands. We'll take a nice gentle twist here. So take the right hand down inside the foot and then inhale your left arm up. Pause breath here. Sink the hips. Soften. So remember, we're going to come into each pose first, opening, softening, know where to get to, not pushing, and just open. And then you can work the pose a little more of the in-breath, lengthening the spine. Exhale, turn and twist. Keep that soft smile. Inhale, one more breath. And then exhale, release the hands. We'll step back onto the knees here. And then we'll make our way into a cobra pose. So from here, let's go ahead and lower yourself down. Stretch out the legs straight. Bring the elbows in close to the body and roll your shoulders back. Actually take a couple of rolls in your shoulders. And then you want to bring the shoulders down and back. Spread the toes and inhale. Come up into just a baby cobra, just a little bit. Now you want to be able to keep the elbows in, shoulders back, back of the neck long, and toes spreading. Take a few breaths here. Inhale. Exhale. One more breath. Inhale. Beautiful. Exhale. Lower down. And we'll press back into half dog pose. And take a moment, pausing, forehead to the floor. Either stay there or come back into a full downward facing dog. And again, you can come into this first one here in the sequence with the knees a little bit bent, just to get the hamstrings out of the stretch. Okay, so that'll help you get more extension through the spine. Then you can play with straightening the legs. Take a deep breath in here, everyone. A long, slow exhalation all the way out. Good, and then we'll step the right foot forward. So you can either step from here or come down to your knees, step the right foot forward, and place your hands on your thigh bone and just take an out breath. So start open and soft here. Yeah, open up the back body as much as you can. The navel comes in towards the spine. Then exhale, sink your hips, and inhale, crescent lunge, reach the arms up, and just soften your gaze up. If it's too much of a strain on your neck, you'll just look forward. Every in-breath, we open up the back a little bit more, draw the lower ribs in. Every out-breath, we sink a little deeper, grounding. Good, one more breath, inhale. And then on the exhale, set your left hand down, right arm to the sky, and you'll take this spinal twist. Yeah. Just a couple of breaths here with every inhale, lengthen the spine. Every exhale, deepen the twist. So kind of like you're wringing out a wet towel. This is great for the organs this time of year, spring cleansing in the organs. Great. And last breath, and an inhale, release your hands, and we'll step right back onto all fours. And again, we're going to lower down into a cobra pose. So point the toes straight back. Exhale, move your tailbone towards your heels. So you want to lengthen this lower back area. And then inhale, come up into cobra. Exhale, lower down. Press back through to your knees. And once again, you can come into half dog puppy pose or full dog pose. And this time in the full dog, we're going to lift the heels nice and high and get the back of the legs to really open up here. You lift your sitting bones, and then exhale, evenly bring the heels back and down. Take another full in-breath here, and exhale all the breath out. Great, and then we'll walk the feet up to the top of our mats, and on the inhalation, gently place the hands to the shins. On the exhalation, fold forward. And pressing through your feet, lead with your chest. Inhale, stretch the arms to the sky. Exhale your hands to your heart. And take a moment here. Find your breath. Come back into your feet standing. Great, and then we will open our eyes and let's separate our feet about one leg length apart. Kind of have to guess. It's actually about as wide as the arms go too. If you can see yourself, that sometimes helps. Great, and then we'll turn the right foot out. Inhale, open the arms wide, and on the exhale, bend your front knee right over your ankle. We'll start with this is the warrior pose. It's taking a few breaths here. So the key here is to not let your spine go forward. You want to have your spine vertical. Front knee is bent into a 90-degree angle if you can get there. And then the outer edge of your back foot is grounded. Yeah. Now from here, we'll take it into extended side angle. So take a deep breath in, and then on your exhalation, forearm rests on your thigh. and spin. So this top arm is going to rotate internally as you bring it overhead. And then take a pause here. And smile. Feel the whole shape of the pose, feel the energy of the pose. Yeah. Feel that line, that straight line from the outer edge of your left heel up through the tips of the finger. And breathe, nice ujjayi breaths. Listening with the ears open and receptive. Exhale all the breath out. We'll come back up to standing. And just pause here in the middle for a moment. And come back to the center. And then we'll pivot the left foot straight out. Open the arms wide. And on the exhale, bend your knee right over your ankle. Try not to lose the connection, the anchor in the outer edge of your back foot as you bend the knee. Okay? And then the gaze and the warrior comes off the fingertips. So this pose is really about having a strong spine and an open heart. It sort of feels like these times we have to be in this energy of the warrior, right? With strength, but also with openness in our hearts. And meeting each other in that open space. Compassion and love. We'll take it from here into extended side angle. Deep breath in on the exhale. Forearm comes onto the thigh. And rotate this top arm internally. So the arm is rotating towards the ear. And then the gaze is eventually looking up at the ceiling or the fingertips. And then again, come to your breath. So it's not so important to get the perfect alignment of the pose. In fact, the breath is first and foremost. So if you can't breathe, or you can't breathe well, back off a little bit until you can find the breath. Then you can work the details of the pose. Yeah. One more exhalation here. And then on the inhalation, come all the way back up. We'll turn the feet parallel and pivot the feet in just a little bit. And let's actually take the hands onto the abdomen for a moment and close your eyes. And check in with yourself. Notice how you're breathing at this point. Notice how you're connected to your body. Maybe you feel a little more connected to your feet. And just notice, become aware of what's happening now. Maybe there's more irritability up, that's okay too. Sometimes the yoga it's the rubbing, so it can actually move stuff for us. This is a good thing. You just want to stay aware. And then we'll turn the right foot out. We'll come into triangle pose. Inhale, arms stretch wide. And on the exhale, you're going to reach. So your hips are tipping as you reach. And then eventually, place the hand on the shin. If you have the flexibility, you can slide down to the ankle. What you don't want to do is lean forward and lose the alignment. So like you're slipping into that thin envelope as you come into the pose. And then turn to look up at your thumb. The thumb should be right over the mouth. Come back to that ujjayi breath. Open up the feet, take another breath here, and then as you exhale, ground the feet, push into the legs to come all the way back up, and then we'll turn all the way to the other side. Outer edge of your back foot stays parallel to the back of the mat. Inhale and exhale. Triangle pose left side. Go to that edge for you. And then the front leg here is quite active, so you're pushing into the big toe mound of the front foot, and you'll feel the quad muscle engage when you do that. So we don't want to hyperextend the knees, right? Keep the joints healthy and aligned, stable. And last couple of breaths here, looking up with a soft smile. So we work the form in these yoga postures, but we also just want to let go of the form at some point and breathe. And feel. And then exhale the breath completely out. Use the legs to come all the way back up. And we'll turn the feet in. And we're just going to walk or hop the feet together. Let your arms hang by your sides and take a few breaths here. Again, coming back to your center, and you can always do a little shake. Nice full breath out through your mouth, sighing at any time you feel stress in the body. Sighs are good. Great, and then we'll open the eyes and we'll step the feet apart again. Make sure the sides of your feet are parallel for this one. And so parallel to the outer edges of your mat. Inhale, arms stretch wide. Exhale, hands to the hips, and we'll take a big breath, looping the shoulders back. Open up your heart space. Keep that openness as you exhale, fold forward. And then we'll just place the hands to the floor. And take a moment and feel where the weight is hanging out in your feet. So we tend to hang on the heels here. So you want to lean a little bit forward and back until you find the center, really. The balanced action from front to back, from inner to outer. Good, and then exhale. The elbows are bent at a 90-degree angle. You keep a little stability in the shoulders. Shoulder blades moving down your back. And finish your next exhalation. Fully inhale, walk your hands back out. And then from here, we'll turn the toes out and walk on over to the right for a side lunge. Coming up onto the heel. And then to the other side. And this is just to wake up the inner line of the legs. So opening those adductors. Just in case you know what adductors are, right here on the inner line of the legs. And we'll go to each side one more time. Beautiful, everyone. And then come back to center. And then from here, we'll walk our hands. Now this is where, if you have a block or a book, this is where you might use it. So you're going to walk, turn your right foot straight out, and then the left foot comes in about 45 degrees. And we'll place the block here out in front of the foot, or a book if you have it. And so then while you're here, you just want to work the evenness in your hips, and you can shift. You can see how I'm shifting the hips forward and back. And you want to feel, since I can't see you just want to be able to feel with your mind's eye, level hips. And those of you who can go a little bit deeper, you can walk your hands out and fold in. And breathe right into the sensation. Wherever you feel it, you'll probably feel it in your back of your hamstrings or calves. And exhale completely, and we'll inhale, walk on up. You can take your block with you. We're just going to pivot, stay low and pivot, and then go to the other side, left foot out, right foot 45 degrees in. Inhale, and just work the stabilization here of the pose. So you're going to just rock a little forward into the front leg and then the back, and you'll feel that place right in the middle. So the big toe mound of your front foot is anchored, and from that anchoring, we start to pull the outer left hip back, and that'll help even the hips out. And if the form, if it's too much alignment and form for you, just be with where you are. Don't complicate it for yourself. Last couple of breaths. Soften in. Great. And then we'll go ahead and walk our way back to the center. And let's take another breath here. Inhale, looking up halfway. And then exhale, fold in. And just take your elbows and sway. Last one here. Just swaying from side to side. Let go of your head, your neck. Find that ragdoll energy. Beautiful. And I thought we could do one balancing pose, standing balancing pose. Today, bring a little balance. So hands to scoot your feet together, bring your hands to your hip and slowly, slowly come on up. So we'll take the tree pose here. Standing on the left leg, lift your right leg and go ahead and stand here and just find your balance for a moment. So you might find yourself swaying side to side. It's good, the foot is working proprioception, your body in space, okay? Then, once you feel your balance, and you can feel free to use a wall here, hold your hand on the wall if you're having a hard time balancing. Bring your heel up onto your inner thigh here. If that doesn't work for you, you can always take the foot to the inner shin, okay? Otherwise, the heel comes as high as you can get it, and then you're going to push the foot and the thigh in towards each other. That's going to create stability, and then it'll also start to lift your spine. Good, then inhale, stretch the arms up. And you may find you're swaying, it's okay, right? Trees sway, so you want to just try to keep that root as strong as possible, the trunk. And then you can sway through the upper body. So this is really such a great pose for us right now to work that stabilization inside, being the calm in the center of the storm. And breathe, deep breaths. If you want to play with a little more challenge, you can look up, you can even try to close your eyes. And then you'll exhale very slowly, the arms down. Good, and then shake it out. And we'll come to the other side. So just start by standing on your right leg and lifting your left and finding your balance. Yeah, and then you can take the foot either to the inner shin or bring it up as high as you can. And then stabilize here. Feel free to use a wall with the right arm. And then we'll take the hands to prayer position. And as you exhale here, again, find that weight on the tailbone. So the tailbone is dropping towards the earth. And if your foot is slipping, like mine just did, you just want to put a little more pressure, squeezing in. So squeeze the leg and the heel towards each other. And that'll help open the hips too. Okay, and then inhale, stretch the arms up. You guys are doing great. I could tell out there, everybody's doing really great. Meeting their edge. And then last couple of breaths. If it feels good, you can play with looking up, maybe closing the eyes. And then on the exhale, very slowly make your way back out. Shake it out. Beautiful. Okay, so now we're going to make our way back to the floor. So you can actually just bend your knees and come down, or you can move through a sun salutation if you prefer. You know the flow sequence. And then however you end up, we're going to bring our feet and legs together, sitting in what we call Dandasana, the staff pose. So I'm going to get my blanket here. So if your spine, we talked about this last time, but if your spine is at all rounded in your back, you'll want to put a little support under your seat so that you can lift your sacrum here and the lower back in and up. Right? So whatever you can do to create that support in your body. And then we'll take the hands just back behind the hips for Dandasana. The shoulders roll back. You can let your chin lengthen towards your chest for a little bit. This is just really the mountain pose of the sitting poses. So this is setting up the foundation for all the sitting postures here. And breathe deeply. Tip of the tongue resting on the roof of your mouth. One more big breath. Round the thigh bones. Lift the sternum. And exhale all the way out. And then if you have a strap or a scarf or something, you can reach forward, take the strap around the balls of the feet. Those of you with more flexibility can take a hold of your feet. And then we'll just inhale here. Another option is just to take the ankles or the calves, shins. And you're just going to hinge here at the hip joints. Once you feel your back rounding is when you want to back off a little bit. So you want to keep obviously the health of your spine here, the lumbar spine. So we keep lengthening and hinging. And stay with your breath. So keep meeting maybe the uncomfortableness in your legs, hamstrings. Just keep meeting it with your breath. There's nowhere to get to. We're not trying to get more flexible. We're just moving the prana, the life force energy, through these more stagnant areas of the body. And then inhale, come on up. Great, and we'll bend the knees. For tabletop, bring your feet about hip distance apart. Hands are going to be back behind you, fingers turned in towards the lower back. Find your exhalation, bottom of your exhale, push through the feet, and then inhale, lift the hips, and open up your chest. And depending if you have any neck issues, you'll just look forward. If not, you can take a nice opening, letting your head go back into the nape of the neck. And then push the inner heels to lift the hips open. And then on your next exhale, beautiful, come down, reach the legs out in front again. And then we'll take another forward fold with the knee out to the side. So you'll pull your left leg out first, then you're going to fold your knee in. That's really keeps the health of the knee. And if you have any knee issues or your knee is really high, you can put some support under the knee. Okay? And then inhale, reach the arms up. And exhale, start to turn your ribs towards your right as you fold. You'll take your ankle, foot, or use a strap. And then just go to that first edge. So as you inhale, ground the right thigh bone. Move the left ribs towards the right thigh. Exhale, deepen the fold. Make sure it's not going into your elbows light, shoulders moving down away from the neck. Deepen your breath. Go inward. This is a great time for us to go inside, and forward bends really help us go internal. They help us go into more of a quiet, soothing place for the nervous system, soothing all that anxiety and stress. Beautiful, then inhale, we'll come on up, and we'll take it into a twist. So left hand back, and take your right hand onto the outside of the knee and root down through your sitting bones. So all that really means is yielding down and then lifting up. And exhale, turn and twist. And see if you can twist from the belly center. This means we're getting into some of the organs here, bringing out the organs. Spring is a great time for that, twisting. And inhale, come on, back up, and we'll turn to the other side. So I'm just gonna take that right knee out and bring the leg in, all face forward. Inhale, reach your arms up to the sky, and then move your right ribs towards the left thigh. Exhale, hinge forward. Come to your first edge and breathe. And with every inhalation, you want to think about lifting and lengthening the spine, the sides of your waist, your chest. And then with every exhalation, dropping in deeper. Deeper into the sensation, your sensation. Remember, this is a self-practice of being with ourselves. And last breath or two here, everyone. And then inhale, coming on up. And we'll twist, left hand to the outside of the knee, right hand back behind. And exhale, find your foundation first. And grow tall through the spine as you inhale. Exhale, twist. The gaze of the eyes looks all the way over to the right. So you're actually stretching the eyes here, which is really nice for the eyeballs and the eye sockets. And then just one more breath, inhaling, exhale, deepen the twist, and inhale, we'll come back to center. Great, everyone, and then I'll have you just go ahead and stretch yourself back into a half or full dog pose. We're going to make our way into pigeon, half pigeon, like we did last time. Left knee between your hands, and then you'll just see here, if you're pretty open in your hips, you might want to go a little further, taking your foot towards the front of the mat. If you're a little tighter in your hips like me, then you'll have your foot closer in, okay? Excuse me, take a deep breath in here, opening out through the chest, and on the exhale, walk it out. So for some of you, you'll just walk right here. Okay? Others will maybe go a little deeper, coming down onto the elbows. Feeling your way through. You might feel discomfort, we might even call it pain if we're not used to sensation. You just want to try to, as long as it's not sharp, injury pain, just want to see if we can go right to that edge of discomfort and wait, be patient, just wait for the opening. The body has this incredible intelligence. When we can just give it space and bring our awareness to the body, it has the intelligence to let go, to open, to align. And if there's anything you want to let go of from the week, we're on a Friday here, anything you don't want to take with you over the weekend, perhaps any places where your mind keeps looping or your emotions. Let's see if you can let it all go here for the last couple of breaths. You can take some out breaths. You can, sometimes it's nice to simply sigh. And then slowly come on up here. Exhale, pull back into a half dog or full dog, stretching it out. You can lift that leg up and just stretch, open the hip, the knee. And then we'll take it to the other side. Right knee forward, half pigeon. Again, find that sweet spot for you. And then take a nice big breath, breathing up the front line of your spine. There's actually a ligament that runs up the front of the spine. I'm going to try to open up that ligament. So we bring health and vitality into the spine. And then exhale. Just find your way into that first edge for you. And wait. Take several breaths here. Deepening in. Allow your ears to be receptive, listening to the sound of your breath, the quality of your breath. Using the breath to melt the tension, to soften the unnecessary holding patterns, tension in the body. And last breath here, last exhalation. We'll inhale, slowly walk it up. And then again, make your way either to a half dog or a full dog. Again, just stretching it out. And then from downward facing dog, we'll slide the chest forward to a plank pose. And then either lower with straight legs or knees bent. And we'll come into a final back bend posture, Shalabhasana. I'm going to actually give you guys an option. So the first pose I'm going to do is Shalabhasana, and it's more of a level 1 back bend if you like to stick with that. So I'll show you that. We lift the head and chest, shoulders, legs, and feet. Shalabhasana. Okay. Second pose I'm going to give you is called Dhanurasana. This is a little more of an intermediate pose, but you can still give it a try. If you have lower back issues, I would stick with the first one. Okay, so for Dandasana or Dhanurasana, we bring the feet and legs so they're parallel. Exhale to the bottom of the breath. Move the tailbone towards the heels and inhale, lift your head and chest, and then the legs and feet. Okay, so it doesn't really matter how high you get. I don't get very high in this pose. It's usually a psoas thing. Just be where you are, and you can lift the chest, open the throat, and then push the feet back into the hands. Yeah. And then on the exhale, lower, and we'll simply rest the head to one side, arms to your sides, and breathe and feel. And it's really nice here to gently shake the hips side to side. Just letting it all release. Yeah. And then from here, we'll simply roll over onto our backs for our final couple of poses. We'll take a bridge pose, and if you happen to have a block handy, you're welcome to do a more supported bridge. I'll show you the options of both. So we're actually going to start all together with a full bridge. Coming up onto the elbows. Walk one shoulder straight in at a time. Try not to tuck the shoulders down because it puts stress on the neck. So we're going to exhale, push into the elbows, press into the feet, lift the hips all the way up. Yeah. And then you can actually sway your knees side to side here. And then come back to center. And then press the inner heels to lift the sacrum. And then if you like, an option is to reach under and clasp the hands, walk the shoulders even a little more back, and soften up your chin. So the chin is neutral, throat is open, and breath is deep. So we really want to work the breath into each of the ribs, so intercostal muscles, opening up the capacity for breath. And then we'll exhale, lower the hips all the way down, knees towards each other. Rest the hands on your belly. And breathe. So if you have a block and you'd like to take supported bridge, you can place the block any height underneath your sacrum here. Okay, if you don't have a block, you can play with walking, it's a little harder on the wrists, but you can play with walking the heel of the hands underneath the hips, fingertips point out. So you can, with support, you can actually rest a little bit more into the pose. It becomes a little more restorative. A couple more breaths here, everyone. And then inhale, lift your hips, lower, release the block if you have one. Exhale, lower all the way down. And we'll draw the knees into the chest, excuse me. Take some deep breaths, squeezing the knees in towards the chest. In fact, give yourself a big squeeze and hug, pulling all the way into a ball. This actually feels good, activating the core. Give yourself a hug, gratitude for showing up for yourself. It's not always an easy thing to do in this day and age. And then exhale, lower the head back down. And then you can take the knees wide here. And move the tailbone back to the floor, opening up the hip flexors. This can even go right into a happy baby if you want to take a deeper stretch in the, here. Good, knees back together. And we're simply going to rest back in Shavasana for a minute or so. Stretch your legs out, palms face up towards the ceiling. And tuck the shoulders back slightly so that the heart is open. And allow yourself to fully rest back for this next minute. Full release. Let go of your breath. Any residual tension, effort. Simply allowing yourself to be completely supported by the earth, by the ground beneath you. Feel free to stay as long as you like in this resting pose, Shavasana. Otherwise, we'll slowly come out, taking some deeper breaths and bringing some very gentle movements into the toes, fingers, ankles, and wrists. And then gently stretch your arms over your head. And give yourself a full body stretch, reaching through the heels, fingertips. And exhale, bend the knees. We'll roll over to the right side. Pause here with the head on the upper arm bone. Taking a moment of integration here, integrating the postures, the whole practice. And then on your next exhale, use your arms to press all the way up to a comfortable cross-legged position. And we'll join the hands at the heart. Take a moment of gratitude for yourself. Offer gratitude out into the world, anyone who might need a little extra blessing. Namaste. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming to ZENTS Wellness Room. We'll see you next week on Monday. Thank you. Namaste. Have a beautiful weekend.